What's up guys, it's Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. So as with yesterday's video, we have another new character that we are going to discuss the full lore based on, and that is none other than the antagonist himself, Aswell. Self-proclaimed studier of the human race, Aswell's love for mankind bordered on the fanatical. Blessed with an almost unworldly intelligence, he was a scholar in numerous fields, including history, medicine, war, and art. His research into human history in particular had led him to conclude that people would eventually destroy themselves through war or some other catastrophe. In response, he decided to become the savior of humanity as a member of the Aval organization. He conducted research at a lightning pace and concluded that by causing the powerful evil seed, humanity would be taken to its next level. Aswell was such that it might soon rival that of even the gods themselves. Aswell's research at the Aval organization had not been for nothing. He had concluded that he was unable to obtain enough information about the Cursed and Spirit Sword by himself. At the same time, however, he has also felt restricted in his movements within the organization. So when he became a member of the 12, he recruited crazed followers who would help. His actions, though, raised the suspicions of the organization. With his theories about the Ultimate Seed already formulated, he was ready to take his plan to the next stage by getting his hands on the fragment of both the Spirit Sword and the Cursed Sword. He could use their power to bring forth the Ultimate Seed. The day humanity was saved was near. Just thinking about it filled Aswell with ecstasy. It was Aswell who treated Grow after he was defeated by Nightmare, but the researchers secretly infected him with manifested energy. Later, Aswell infected Curtis with a fragment of the Soul Edge and transformed him into Malfested, forcing Grow to kill his best friend. He then fought the enraged warrior but managed to escape. At some point, Aswell wrote documents about the evil seed under the title Scholar of the Future. In 1589, after his supposed death by the Conduit, Aswell met with the man who had gotten hold of his documents, Raphael Soriel. He learned of the nobleman's goal to obtain Soul Edge and gave it to the nobles, so that they would fight to kill each other for the sword, and Raphael would create the ideal world for his adoptive daughter, Amy. Seeing how easily he manipulated the nobleman, Aswell fought Raphael to test his resolve, and later gave him medicine to stop Soul Edge's poison from infecting him before departing. In 1586, Aswell visited Lord Dumas and informed him that the Aval organization's supposed actions of betrayal. As he was about to leave, he found Amy eavesdropping on their conversation and took an interest in her and her psychic abilities. Later, in 1590, Aswell lured Amy into a trap and had a group of Malfested attack her to ascertain her powers. Afterwards, the researcher revealed Raphael's plan of obtaining Soul Edge, and its flaw of the nobleman's madness. Aswell easily irked Amy into fighting and paralyzed her with a magical orb. With the orb, the researcher discovered her future self, Viola, and tortured her with a nightmare of Raphael becoming Malfested. Wanting to make her into his doll of the future, Aswell erased Amy's memories of their encounter and allowed her to be found by Melis. While preparing to carry out his plan for the Ultimate Seed, Aswell sensed the powers of the Conduit and changed his plan because of that. Eventually, the researcher was found by them, Grow and Sasalamel, and was revealed all of his plan to bring about the Ultimate Seed before making his escape. After being chased west, Aswell absorbed an astral fissure at the shrine of Eurydice and fought the Conduit. He defeated them with ease, but was then challenged by Grow, who grabbed him and caused both of them to fall into a ravine. Aswell survived and gathered his followers, the Qualifiers, in Ostrheinsburg. There, he was confronted by the Conduit yet again and told that they needed their energy they gained from closing the astral fissures to channel them into Soul Edge and Soul Calibur. Then, Aswell would mix their powers and finally unleash the Ultimate Seed, but he was refused by the Conduit, who defeated him in both of his forms. Aswell is then finished by the Conduit, who used either Soul Edge or Soul Calibur to defeat him once and for all, but this did not kill Aswell. Aswell is a cunning and charismatic genius who possesses mannerisms of a playwright with the Messiah complex who advocates his love for humanity. Underneath it all, however, Aswell comes off as an irredeemably cruel, self-aggrandizing, spiteful, and sociopathic sadist. His warped idea of love, quote-unquote, for humans is merely for his own self-gratification and can be likened to that of psychological abuse and emotional manipulation he inflicts on his victims, especially through his experiments. He also made no hesitation in remorsefully murdering any high-ranking members of the Aval organization when they became suspicious of his schemes, including Grow's master, Orzal. Aswell uses vastly different fighting techniques than the average fighter. He has studied the Cursed Swords and Spirit Swords deeply, particularly their power, and realized that they operate in a similar way to waves. The concept of waves and their ability to cancel each other out have been known by some time for this point. While part of the Eval organization, Aswell formulated a theory that the sword's waves could be manipulated. This revelation would help him lead to his final aim, creating the Ultimate Seed. Through his research, Aswell also discovered that within each sword lies the memories of past battles, stored sort of data, which he calls martial philosophy and theory, can be introduced as a form of reaction, then retrieved and used to replicate actual fighting moves. According to Aswell, the fragments are condensed massive information, somewhat like a dictionary. Aswell's fighting style evolves him creating weapons and style appropriate to the situation he is in by drawing on the martial philosophy and theory contained within a sword's fragments. When Aswell began planning to leave the Eval organization, he knew his lack of fighting ability was his fatal weakness. However, once his research into the Cursed and Spirit Swords was complete, and he could harness their powers, that was no longer a concern. All he had left to do was put him into motion. Aswell is a pretty cool counterpart to our heroes. He's actually pretty good as a villain overall. He's a type of villain that I like to see, not one that's just like completely out there. He has his own twisted reasons for doing things, and even though those twisted would bring about the ruination of the world that he lives in, he pursues it nonetheless. He has foregone any sense of self in order to make himself into a weapon, practically, to take on the power of the Cursed Sword and the Spirit Sword. This is seen also in things like people of the past, like Algol. Whether or not his Ultimate Seed is going to lead to not the creation of Algol, but the manipulation of which, and gives him the ability to wield both swords in this canon, then that is yet to be seen, but it is a possibility. The Ultimate Seed does still have a lot of power back behind it, even though his main goals were thwarted in this game, especially in Libra of Souls. It's yet to be seen whether or not he will actually return as an underling to probably Algol, in my opinion, in the next game. Aswell also is interesting with his personality and his sadism. He seems to be inherently happy, almost to a neurotic point, where whenever you encounter him, his positivity is overflowing. This could also be a part of his arrogance, where he doesn't think that anyone really poses a threat to him, and he manipulates everyone like pawns to achieve his own goal. But whether that's the case or not, he definitely has a personality that lends to being the main antagonist of this game. And since this is rebooted and he was the first start, I think it's more interesting than some of the prior ones, with the exception of probably Cervantes. But with that being said, we're going to conclude this lore video and bring it to a close. There's a very special video tomorrow, but thank you guys for watching. Have a conversation in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you and thank you.
Hey, what's up, guys? Have you always wanted some sweet Mark Yoon merch? Maybe a Thick U shirt, maybe a shirt from Squirt, maybe my pretty face with my logo all over your body, or a throw pillow, or blanket, or anything? Well, you're in luck, because I just launched my merch store, and it is going to be available on Redbubble, and you will find a link to it in my description box down below. It's got a lot of quality content, and a lot of good stuff for you to pick up, so you can show your support for the channel, and just rep Mark Yoon. Alright, guys, as always, Thick U.